It is Tuesday night, your phone brightness is turned all the way down so you do not wake your partner, and you are staring at your CommBank app, watching a red number that just will not budge. You just transferred $200 from your everyday account to cover the Afterpay installment for groceries you already ate 3 weeks ago, and now you are doing the mental math to see if you can make it to Thursday, without tapping into the emergency fund that only has $400 left in it anyway. Your chest is tight, your mind is racing, and you are wondering how you are working 38 hours a week, but somehow still feeling like you are drowning in a puddle. Take a breath, put the phone down, and listen to me closely, because you are not stupid, you are not failing, and you are absolutely not alone in feeling this way. The truth is, the Australian financial system is practically engineered to keep you on a treadmill of perpetual payments where every time you take one step forward, the cost of simply existing knocks you 2 steps back. You are trying to play by the rules in a game where the Reserve Bank of Australia keeps moving the goalposts. Inflation eats your wage growth before it even hits your bank account, and the big 4 banks are actively profiting off your confusion. You are doing the best you can with a rulebook that was written 40 years ago for a completely different economy, so drop the guilt right now, because this is not a personal failure, it is a structural trap. By the time this video ends, you are going to understand exactly where you sit on the Australian debt ladder, and you will have a precise, step-by-step strategy to climb out of whichever tier is currently holding you back. I am going to show you exactly how to flip the mathematical reality of your specific debt level from a $500 microloan all the way up to a $500,000 mortgage, so you can finally stop stressing about Wednesday night bank balances and start aggressively buying back your own time. The reason you feel like you cannot get ahead is because you are fighting a multi-front war against institutions that view your debt as their primary asset class. While you are trying to stretch your dollar at Coles and IGA, the RBA has kept the cash rate hovering at brutal levels throughout 2026, punishing everyday families to curb inflation that was largely driven by corporate profit margins. Add the ATO into the mix, where bracket creep quietly steals your modest pay rise, pushing you closer to a 32.5% tax bracket just because you worked some overtime to pay off your credit card. The system relies on you feeling too exhausted to read the fine print on your AGL electricity bill, too overwhelmed to switch your poorly performing retail super fund, and too trapped by rental increases to ever save a 20% deposit. The Grattan Institute recently highlighted how the gap between wages and living costs is widening, proving they want you living week to week, relying on debt just to bridge the gap, because a financially stressed Australian is a highly profitable Australian. We are going to walk through the 5 stages of debt in this country, and I want you to find exactly where you are right now. The first stage is the $500 to $5,000 trap, which I call the psychological quicksand. This is your Afterpay, your Zip Pay, and that low-limit credit card you got just for emergencies but now use for petrol at Ampol. At this level, the math is not what is killing you, the habit is. You are paying the poverty premium, getting slugged with late fees and account-keeping charges that act like a tax on not having cash. When I looked at the numbers on this, for a mate in Melbourne last year, he was earning $90,000 a year, but felt completely broke because $300 of every payslip vanished instantly to clear micro debts. If you are here, you need to understand that this debt is designed to feel manageable so you never actually pay it off. Stage 2 is the $5,000 to $20,000 heavy anchor. This is usually the personal loan for the 2019 Corolla, combined with a maxed out credit card from a holiday you took 2 years ago or an unexpected trip to the mechanic. This is where the interest rates start doing serious damage. If you have $10,000 on a credit card at 19.9%, you are paying nearly $2,000 a year just for the privilege of owing the bank money. That is $2,000 of your post-tax income, meaning you actually had to earn nearly $3,000 at your day job just to feed the bank's profit margin. But here is the relatability reset that should make you feel better. If you only have $15,000 of consumer debt, you are actually sitting in a highly recoverable position compared to the national average. You just need a brutal unyielding focus for 6 months to clear it. Stage 3 takes us into the $20,000 to $50,000 danger zone. Welcome to the HECS and help debt reality, mixed with perhaps a newer car loan. A few years ago, we all treated university debt like it was free money because indexation was practically zero. Then the ABS released the inflation figures, and suddenly Australians saw their HECS balances jump dramatically. You are watching your payslip get raided by the ATO every fortnight for a debt that somehow feels like it goes up instead of down. It is thoroughly demoralising. But this is where you have to look at the numbers rationally, not emotionally. Do not panic and dump your emergency savings into your HECS debt just because indexation spiked. Your car loan at 8% is still bleeding you faster than your HECS debt, so attack the commercial debt first and let the government wait in line. Then we hit stage 4, the $50,000 to $150,000 squeeze. This is the realm of the aspiring homeowner who got caught in the rent trap. Maybe you have managed to scrape together $40,000 in savings, but you are carrying $30,000 in combined HECS and car debt, and your landlord in Brisbane just jacked up your rent by another $100 a week. You feel like you are saving aggressively, but house prices in your target suburb are rising faster than your savings rate. This is the stage where lifestyle creep is your absolute biggest enemy. You get a promotion, your take-home pay goes up, you stop worrying about Centrelink cutoffs or the Medicare levy surcharge, and suddenly you are upgrading the car, eating out 3 times a week, and justifying it because you work hard. I want you to hear this warning clearly. The gap between your income and your expenses is your only weapon right now. If you let your lifestyle expand to meet your new income, you will be stuck in stage 4 forever. Finally, we reach stage 5, the $500,000 milestone. This is the great Australian dream turned into a 30-year financial chokehold. You bought the house in Sydney's outer suburbs or Melbourne's growth corridors, and now you have a $500,000 mortgage hanging over your head. When the RBA hiked rates, your minimum monthly repayment shot up by over $1,000. You are officially asset rich and cash flow poor, but look at what you have actually achieved here. You own an appreciating asset. You have forced savings through principal repayments. You are actually ahead of 60% of the country who do not own property. The trap here is not the debt itself, it is the complacency. Paying just the minimum repayment on a $500,000 mortgage guarantees you'll pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest over the life of the loan. You have to treat your mortgage like an emergency and throw every spare dollar into the offset account to crush the principal before the interest crushes you. Now I want you to stop what you are doing and listen to this because it goes against every piece of traditional advice your parents gave you. All debt is not created equal, and rushing to pay off all your debt at the exact same speed is the fastest way to stay poor. The financial system relies on you treating a 4% tax-deductible investment loan the exact same way you treat a 20% personal loan. They want you to feel so universally guilty about owing money that you make irrational decisions, like keeping $50,000 sitting in a low-interest savings account, while you simultaneously pay 7% interest on a car loan. If your money is earning you 4% in the bank, but you are paying 8% on a loan, you are actively choosing to lose money every single day just to feel the false security of a high bank balance. The wealthy do not fear debt, they categorise it, they weaponize it, and they ruthlessly eliminate the bad while leveraging the good. The reason most Australians stay trapped in these debt cycles has nothing to do with their intelligence and everything to do with how human psychology handles scarcity. When you're stressed about money, your brain literally reduces its cognitive bandwidth. You experience a scarcity mindset, which forces you to focus only on immediate survival. You start making decisions that feel good right now, but punish you later, like using a buy now, pay later service for a new jacket, because you just want a hit of dopamine to offset the misery of paying your electricity bill. It is the exact same reason we avoid looking at our superannuation balance to see if we are meeting the asked for retirement standard, or delay opening our bank app until payday. It is financial avoidance driven by shame. But the moment you realize that your brain is just seeking comfort in a highly stressful environment, you take its power away. You are not bad with money, you are just human, And awareness of that behavioral trap is the exact mechanism that will get you out of it. Here is exactly what you are going to do this week to start moving up the ladder and taking your power back. First, you are going to categorize and rank every single dollar you owe from the highest interest rate down to the lowest, ignoring the total balance completely. You are going to attack the highest interest debt with every spare dollar you have, while paying only the bare minimum on everything else, because mathematically, this is the fastest way to stop the bleeding. Second, you are going to call your current bank, tell them you are looking at refinancing with a competitor like Macquarie or ING, and demand they lower your current interest rate on any variable loans or credit cards. The banks rely on your laziness, and a 10-minute phone call can literally save you thousands of dollars a year in loyalty taxes. Third, you are going to automate your defense by setting up a completely separate bank account at a different institution for your emergency fund, and you are going to route 10% of your pay straight into it before you even see it. You cannot spend what is not in your everyday account, and this simple friction will stop the micro-borrowing cycle dead in its tracks. Debt is just the financial measurement of your past decisions, but your income is the hammer you will use to build your future. So stop swinging it at the banks and start swinging it for yourself. If you found value in this breakdown and want to keep mastering your money the Australian way, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.